So I found a place to stay, and I was going to need my visa. I was going to need my visa, or I was going to have to go back home. If I didn't find this solution, I was going to have to go back home to the States. I was like, man, I got to find a solution. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go back to the States. And I ended up finding a solution. My student that I had, it was an older lady. It was a student, an Argentine student. She offered. She said, you know, what I can do is I can try to get you a visa. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can register you as my house gardener. I can put your name down there, say that you work for me. You work for me, and I'll put you down there so you can get your legalized papers. This lady knew me for maybe about a year or so, maybe about 6 months to a year. We struck up a friendship. She would invite me to her house. You know, I had other agencies inviting me, you know, to their houses, you know, finding students for me because I was struggling. Finding I needed work. So these people were connected. Hey, I know this person. I know that person. They were making connections for me. I know it was God too, for sure. Making connections for me so I would be able to work and have a better opportunity. So this lady that I had, my friend, she ended up offering to put her name and her neck on the line for me. You know, because I needed help. I needed to be legalized. So I thought that was incredible. So getting right to the story, you know, of this entire thing with the World Cup and different things that I'm seeing, it makes me sad because I have. Now getting to the side where there is racism, it exists. Why I never experienced it, if maybe I experienced it one time when I went to an interview and I went with another Asian guy and the lady said, well, you must be the person that's interviewing. And the guy said, hey, did you see that? It seems like it's kind of discriminatory. I didn't really see it as that because I ended up getting the job. The lady ended up giving me the job anyway. The guy referenced me. But I think there is some cultural slowness there. I don't know if you can see if I'm speaking correctly. There's some cultural behindness. You know, they're a little bit behind, I think. Culturally in some areas, you know, that could possibly be culturally with race-wise. But Argentines races as a whole, I don't really think so. Can they be racist? Can some of them be? Yes. Like any other places, they can be. Some can be. My experience that I had personally was amazing. I don't know why I didn't experience it. I don't know why. The people that I met in Argentina, in both places where I live, changed my life forever. They helped me when I needed it in my lowest times. When I was in my exchange program, I lived with Argentinians. They invited me to their houses. They made me feel at home. So the things that we see online, what I give advice about it, not diminishing other people's experience of what they've gone through, but first go there, meet the people, live there if you can even, you know, feel out the people because it's not just a one-stop thing. They're racist. Don't go there. They're racist. Just discount everybody. No, it's not quite like that. You know, there's people there that will be very, very nice to you. And there's people there that could discriminate against you too. But my personal experience, I met so many nice people. You know, I never had any racial problem. And I lived there for almost 3 years. It was just an incredible experience for me. And so I'm grateful for that. And my experience in Argentina really set precedent and really predicted me living here in Brazil. Now I live here in Bahia, Brazil, which is culture's completely different. So, you know, that really was a difference maker for me, you know, which is why I'm here in Brazil today. It set precedence for me living overseas in general, permanently. You know, I started my family. You know, there's different things. So it's incredible. It's incredible. And I'm always divided with my emotions with Argentina because I see the racists, I see what some people go through. But I never went through that. So, you know, for me, I have an intimate side for Argentines because of how they treated me. So I'm grateful for that. You know, shout out to the Argentines. I know not all of you are like you're being depicted online, you know, but those who are, you got to do better. You know, it's not all of you. So gringos, anybody that's having doubt about Argentina, study the culture. Yeah, there's some history there that has to be explained. I agree with that, and that makes me sad. But there's history also in the U.S. also, and that's sad too. So You know, study that, do some research. Go there if you get the opportunity, meet the people, because in some places, you know, it's different. You know, Buenos Aires may be different from Ushuaia, for example, or Santa Fe, for example, you know. So go there. It's going to be an interesting lesson, you know. Check out some different things and study the history of Argentina and the people, so you kind of understand them, because they use different connotations. Negrito, that's like a form of endearment, you know. But then there's other sides too. They can say, negro de mierda. That's another thing. You know, so there's some things that have to be explained. But my personal experience closing was an amazing experience, and I'm grateful for that. So, and I sympathize again with people who go through a different situation. But you know, it's good to learn. You live and you learn. You know. So, thanks guys for this brief testimony, this brief overview of kind of what I went through. I could go on for hours, but thank you guys. Valeu para os brasileiros também. Dia desse eu vou ter que traduzir também para botar em resumindo, entender em português também, mas valeu vocês. Shout out to all of you. Appreciate it. Leave your comments here for people that have gone through some things, people that have kind of seen the other side of the coin too. I've seen some here on TikTok too, so very interesting. People that are going to have great experiences also, and also people that have bad experiences. Shout out to my buddies out in Argentina also, if you see this also. Thanks, guys. Take care.